Hey guys, welcome to my gaming channel, Rina the Wolf here, and today let's talk about
Resident Evil.
As much as I like the remake a little bit more than the original, yes, it's still not perfect, but I love quirky games, and let's be honest, the voice acting is a bit better than in the original. If you missed it, please check out my review of the original Resident Evil game, and before we jump right in, let's go through the things I'm going to talk about. I'm gonna talk about the plot, the main characters and the bosses, and I will talk about my own experience with the game, and I will try to keep it short. At the end of the video, I'm gonna read the following: plot, graphics, music, characters and replay value. Please note that this is solely my opinion and impression of the game, and we can agree to disagree. Okay, that was a long intro, so let's jump right in. The game is set on the 24th of July 1998. Raccoon City Police Department Special Tactics and Rescue Service, STARS, is sent to investigate when strange murders occur on the outskirts of Raccoon City in the Arklay Mountains. Two teams are sent out. First it was the Bravo team, which we get to know in Resident Evil 0. But when communication gets lost, Alpha Team is involved, so Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton and Captain Albert Wesker, Joseph Frost and pilot Brett Vickers join the investigation. They find Bravo Team's crashed helicopter, and soon after they're attacked by zombie dogs, and during this encounter Joseph loses his life, so they take shelter in a nearby mansion. This mansion turns out to be filled with undead creatures and other bioorganic weapons. By Vesker's orders, the team splits up and we can choose our protagonist. Jill is partnered with Barry and he helps her periodically, while Chris later teams up with Rebecca, the lone survivor of the Bravo team. During the investigation, the protagonist uncovers not only the mansion but Umbrella's secrets: the experiments, the zombies, other BOWs, the traps, the T-Virus. Bravo team lost some members in Zero, like Edward, but during the investigation of the Spencer mansion, Kenneth's and Forrest's bodies are found, while Enrico gets killed not much before the endgame. Just because he knew too much. Jill or Chris learns through journals, files and secret labs that the Spencer mansion was only disguised as a private estate. It was actually built by Umbrella. Just like in Zero, beneath the mansion, there is a research facility where the corporation conducted bioweapon experiments using a mutagenic virus called the T-Virus, which, as we already learned in the prequel, was breached and spread through the mansion and facility, turning scientists, staff and test subjects into monsters. I will talk about the monsters of the game a bit later, but I really have to mention one here, namely Lisa Trevor. She and her backstory was added to the remake, and in my opinion, it gave the story some heaviness per se. Lisa was the daughter of George Trevor, the architect who designed the mansion. Lisa was captured by Umbrella and they experimented on her for years. She got infected with multiple virus strains. She became effectively immortal, but her body mutated and her appearance became grotesque. What does this storyline add to the game? A haunting emotional core and some trauma. She's not even evil. She's just a victim of Umbrella who's still searching for her mother's face. Nevertheless, besides giving the players a lifelong trauma, she also helps reveal a secret passage that leads to the lab complex. Vesker's role in Umbrella is revealed, and also his mission: collect combat data on the BOWs by using the Alpha Team members as life test subjects. Wesker believes he can control T-002 and releases it, however the BOW impales him once it's set free. Once the player defeats the Tyrant, the self-destruct sequence initiates for the entire facility. This game has multiple endings, but the survivors, depending on player choices, make their way to the helipad. The Tyrant returns for one last fight, but Brett Vickers helps the team out with a rocket launcher. Yes, this death animation is satisfying in the remake as well. The survivors escape by the helicopter and they watch the flames consume the Spencer mansion as the self-destruction sequence ends. Whoa, what a game! Yet again, I will not talk about all the STARS members, but the main characters and their helpers, so let's jump right in. Jill is one of the playable characters. She's intelligent and rescued many STARS members in the past, and she's been reassigned to Raccoon City. She's excellent with special mechanical devices, and she rightfully earned the Master of Lockpicking title. She's considered the easier option as she can carry 8 items in her inventory, and she gets something Chris never will: the bazooka. I'm gonna be honest and just say I give the most credit for Jill in Resi 3, and compared to the OG, I prefer her in the remake. She's an absolute badass and... okay, yes, she was one of my first video game character crushes, okay? Barry is not only Chris's partner but an old friend. He used to be a SWAT team member, and in STARS he maintains and supplies weapons for all the members. He has led many successful projects and he has over 16 years of experience. Barry helps Jill during the mansion investigation and pulls her out from sticky situations, like ending up being a Jill sandwich. He also supplies Jill with ammo and backs her up in various situations. I love Barry's character. He's a daddy. No, not in that way, you perverts. He's a soft bear and he really cares about his teammates, and I love him for it. Wait, it's not going the way I want it to. What I'm trying to say is, Barry is a great father figure. He's a badass, but he also has a soft spot for his friends. I can't blame him for giving in to Vesker's blackmailing though. Family is family, but I'm happy he realized he was wrong for turning on his teammates. Chris was kicked out of the Air Force, and until he met Barry, he was a drifter. It was actually Barry who recruited him for STARS, and Chris has been reassigned to Raccoon City. He is the other playable character, and his scenario is a little bit harder than Jill's, or at least it's supposed to be. He only has 6 inventory slots and he can never use the grenade launcher, but he gets way more shotgun ammo and he gets to use the flamethrower. I have never thought highly of Chris. I mean, from day one, before I got to play Resident Evil 5 in either 2009 or 2010, on PC I got a chance to play Resi 1 and... Nope, Chris has never been my favorite protagonist. At all. Not even near. By far. I always thought of him as a jarhead who just wanted to carry out the missions at all costs. I get it, in later games you figure he has a soft spot for the people he loves, but still, meh. Nah, no. Okay, I gotta admit I was a little bit surprised when I saw him showing emotion when he told Rebecca that Richard died. But still, no, Chris is not in my top 3 or 5, or maybe not even in my top 10. Rebecca is the youngest STARS member and she has been recruited for her knowledge of first aid and field medicine. Even though she lacks experience, her high intelligence compensates for it. She finished university at the age of 18. Rebecca helps Chris during his investigation and she proves to be useful. Even though her piano playing skills are not as good as Jill's or Billy's, she can definitely show her skills if you choose to let her create the V-jolt, and in that case, she can help Chris during the Plant 42 fight. Actually, I hate how Rebecca is represented and portrayed in the OG and in the remake as well. I find her pretty annoying in these games, and I'm actually happy for her redemption in Zero. So okay, I get it. Zero is a prequel, but the remake was released not much before Zero, so, well, we have to live with it now, I guess. Wesker is not only the captain of STAR's Alpha team, he's also a former researcher of Umbrella with a mission to test the power and capabilities of the BOWs infected by the T-virus. Oh, who are the live subjects? Yep, the STAR's teams. Wesker gives this mysterious cool guy vibe with his shades and snappy haircut. His intentions are revealed in the game thanks to the protagonist, and well, I gotta admit I love hating Wesker. Nevertheless, he's my favorite Resident Evil villain, most probably of all time. You can't change my mind about it. It's not his mysterious aura, it's not his looks, no, it's his hunger for knowledge and power that got me love hating him. Even though we cannot see his full potential in this game, I love how we only get a glimpse of his true nature and intentions. So the remake has new enemies and technically 2 new bosses as well, but let's stick to the bosses this time. If you wanna see the new enemies, well, don't forget to check out the gameplay, okay? This gigantic snake is the first boss and we have to face it not once but twice. Be careful! Yarn is scary, and not only because of its size, but it can also poison the player during the first encounter, and it cannot be cured with an ordinary blue herb. You will need a special serum so you can avoid getting slowly killed by the venom. For some reason, Yarn loses this special ability by the second encounter, so you just need to focus and give it everything you have. I already talked a little bit about Lisa's sad story and how it affects the game, but let's take a deeper dive. You can read about this heart-wrencher when you pick up the family picture, and actually George Trevor left some diaries behind. He was the architect of the mansion, and Umbrella kept him and his wife Jessica and their daughter Lisa as prisoners. They were used as test subjects for the T-virus. Lisa is the sole survivor, and even though she technically became immortal, she carries multiple viruses in her body, and all these experiments turned her into a hideous monster. Now she roams the mansion grounds still looking for her parents, especially her mother. Lisa should not be taken lightly though. She uses her manacles as a weapon, and it only takes a few strikes to see the game over screen. We have to face Lisa not even once, I would actually say 3 times in total. So first we encounter her in her cabin when she knocks out the protagonist, but actually we can avoid hurting her. We can escape without doing her any damage. The second time we can avoid her as well. We just need to know our way underground, but dodging her is an option if you don't want to hurt her. That's what I actually try to do, because I personally think her story is already sad enough. She has suffered enough up until this point, so why would I make things even worse? I'm not a monster. So we encounter her one more time before we move on to the laboratory. This encounter just takes fast movements actually. Okay, maybe some strength as well. We need to push the boulders to take off the lid of Jessica's coffin. Once Lisa finally finds her mother, she jumps into the abyss and we can continue our investigation. However, of course, if you want to, you can kill her. It's only up to you. The researchers were not experimenting exclusively on animals and humans, but on plants as well, and the result was this monstrous bulb known as Plant 42. This carnivorous plant feeds on the plant of its victims, and the reason why it grew this big is that it fed off the contaminated water from the broken water tank in the basement. But these exposed roots are also the key to its defeat. Once we concoct Rejolt and administer it to Plant 42's roots, it weakens the plant and this boss fight becomes easier. So with Jill, we can actually technically skip the Plant 42 fight and Barry can help us. With Chris, well, we can use the Rejolt, but I decided not to. We've seen and hated the web spinners, but the black tiger is the mother of all spiders. It's huge and hideous and venomous. If caught off guard, the spiders can not only scare you, they bolt and spit acid. The black tiger is faster, stronger, and its spitting range is also longer. With Jill, acid or flame rounds help, sure, or even the shotgun proves to be useful. Chris is not that lucky to get a grenade launcher, but he gets a flamethrower. Just be careful, if you finish this monster with the shotgun, it will burst the axe sack and you will need to deal with a lot of baby spooters. Jokes aside, I actually chose the Magnum for this encounter, and technically it's almost the same as in the original game, but this time the Black Tiger has a backup, so we also need to be careful with the spider that keeps spitting acid from the ceiling. Wesker claimed T-002 to be the world's most powerful biological weapon. The Tyrant has the build of a large man, and instead of a hand, it has claws on its left forearm. Even though its heart is outside its chest, it doesn't make it vulnerable, and it's definitely not its weakness. Defeating the Tyrant for the first time is no big deal, as it just follows the player casually. Keeping some distance and using the Magnum or the grenade launcher is effective. You can also use the shotgun if you wish, but if the Tyrant's claws reach the protagonist, it's significant damage. The second fight takes place at the heliport and the Tyrant doesn't need to be shot at all. Keeping distance and avoiding taking damage will do until Brett drops the rocket launcher. But actually, if you think you have enough ammo to do it. You can actually speed things up a little bit. And the death animation is satisfactory in the remake as well, I gotta admit that. So once I got a little bit more comfortable with the controls and I learned my way around the game and the new mechanics, the remake felt easier, to be completely honest, compared to the original. Okay, I get it. We have defensive items, but it still didn't stop me from messing things up sometimes. And for some reason, Chris's scenario felt easier than Jill's. The voice acting is better, the graphics are updated, new areas were added to the game, we have Lisa Trevor and her family's tragic story, and all of these sound really good, right? But for me, some new mechanics and items were just meh. And yes, I know the Crimson Heads should add some extra stress and whatnot, but for me, it's kind of worthless if you can dodge zombies easily. Okay, I know, the other Crimson Head got me. That's actually on me, okay? But still, we have our race to avoid them, right? Anyway, I can't help it. I hate how Rebecca was still downgraded. Yes, okay, yes, yeah, I know, Zero is a prequel which came after the original game, but since this is a remake, they could have modified her character a little bit, because she's gone through a lot in Resident Evil 0 and all of that progress just got erased, completely wiped out. I actually played this game with a controller and I got used to it pretty fast, and hey, having defensive items was a blast and it actually helped me a lot. Okay, you know what? Let's check the scores before I say too much. So the plot is actually not much different here. I love Baby Jill and I don't hate Chris too bad, so, you know. But yes, I still hate Rebecca's downgrade. I love how they added Lisa Trevor and her family's tragic story. I really think it adds some real emotional damage if you read all the diary entries. Sure, the dialogues are changed a bit and there were some additional cutscenes, but I still love the plot. The only reason why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 is Rebecca's role in the game. The graphics were upgraded brilliantly. Capcom used the same engine for Resident Evil 0 and the characters lived up to the standard of early 2000s graphics. And I actually played the HD remake of the game, so the 2016 version looks even better. Even though I find some monsters way less grotesque and scary without the low polypixelated graphics, the game in general is beautiful, so I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I know that I usually say that the music is great in Resi games, and sure, I love the safe room music, really, I do. But some scores just totally put me off, and there are a lot of sections where there's no music or background noise at all. So sure, while the safe room music and the resident basement room music are both still great, can anybody tell me what happened to the Plant 42 theme? And also, why does Rebecca's theme sound like this? Gotta admit, I didn't like it. It just felt so off to me. And that's the reason why I cannot give more than a 3 for the music this time. I gotta admit that, yes, I love the upgraded versions of characters. They all look great and detailed. I love them, and maybe, just maybe, a part of me loves how they added Jill and Chris's BSAA costumes as well. Yes, Jill looks even better, and thanks to the details we can see in certain cutscenes how bad Barry feels about lying to Jill and how he avoids eye contact. I love how his character tries to come to terms with this, and to me, Wesker was even greedier and maybe colder or something like that. But Rebecca, oh, Rebecca, yes, I'm still mad about her. In the scene where we save her from a hunter, she looks shocked, helpless, and she screams like a little girl, like she wasn't a badass just hours before. Ugh. So yeah, I'm still mad about how Resi 0 was ignored in the remake as well. So because of this, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Okay, I gotta admit this game is fun, but only because I learned a lot about the controls and dodging and the new game mechanics this time. And actually, well, most probably I will need to replay the game and I will talk about it in one of the gameplay vids, but I thought I was playing on normal difficulty, but no, that was actually easy. Because guess what? This game has a very easy difficulty. Isn't it a little bit absurd for a Resi game? Anyway, I find the game entertaining enough to replay it, sure. I still have no idea why I find Chris's scenario easier and how I didn't mess it up as much as Jill's. Or as many times, for that instance. So okay, even though I'm still not a great fan because, you know, still. Tank controls, hunters, spooters, chimeras, but the game is fun, so I'll give it a 4 out of 5 for replay value. Whoa, okay, I will really need to learn to keep these reviews much shorter. Unless you guys love the lengths of these videos. If you're watching this right when it's published, first of all, thank you so much, and second, please be patient, the gameplay is going to be out really soon, commentary and non-commentary edition, both scenarios. So, should I play the game on normal difficulty? Let's try to gather 50 likes on this video and I will, and let me know down in the comments what you think of the remake. If you want to check out what reviews and or gameplays are coming next, I have left you a link down below. Okay, I think it was way more than enough of my ramble, so if you like this video, please consider giving it a good old thumbs up and rag that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, it means a lot to me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!